We did it.
Yep.
Bobby and I were real nervous about that because Oz usually handles one of those buttons, and so we made it work.
Yeah, thanks for the confidence. All it is touching a button.
Well, I was nervous. I was nervous because I was touching a different button. I usually do the button that you do.
Yeah, I guess. Stop touching my buttons.
I was waiting for someone to say something. Well, hello, Frenzy Knots. Welcome to episode 35 of Toy Frenzy.
Yep, it's awesome. 35 already. Jeez. We got to do something special for 50.
Yeah, we should definitely do something special for 50. For those of you that are in the chat, you'll notice that Oz is not here, and he's taking a break off, which is great. He's in good shape. He's getting some rest. I picture him, poolside with a tall iced tea and sunglasses on, which is probably not, but at least he's taking the time to take hopefully a few more naps, because that's what I've been thinking about today.
And that dude never sleeps.
I don't know. He's a little younger than all of us, so for a while there, when I was in my 30s, I was like, naps are my enemy. But then when I hit 40, it was like naps are my best friend.
They are.
So for the last 6 years, I love naps.
Yeah. When I had kids, I have a daughter who is 11, son who's 6, and when it was nap time on the weekends, I'd be like, I got this, and I'd go take them to the bed and I'd fall asleep with them, so I'd at least get a 2-hour nap in the afternoon. And then my wife's just looking at me like, really? I'm like, I'm handling it. I'm a good dad. I'm having a nap with my kid. This is amazing. So yeah, I've always been addicted to naps, but that was definitely where it was like, oh, this is essential, or else I'll never get through the day. Dear Lord.
It's necessary. I wish that there was a way I could nap at work, because that's when I really right after lunch is when I feel like I need desperately.
That's all that food.
Yeah, that's right. And I love food, so I can't give that up.
No. Don't do that.
No.
Excuse me.
So let's get into the chat and see who's here saying hi to everybody. On our U83, good to see you. How you doing, Bobby?
Are you going to make it?
Who's Bobby? And we've got John, figuratively speaking. Great to see you.
Sorry, it's followed wrong.
That's all right. We always risk that every time we take a sip of something. Ray Black, good to see you.
Hey.
Ray Black is going to miss the first little bit. That's all right. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. And Duchess of Darkness, great to see you. Great episode yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then people are saying hello to each other. We've got Thanos Copter, great to see you.
We're saying hi to everybody.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
We count. It's okay.
We're part of everybody.
Yep.
Hillian Dread, great to see you. And JMax77. Good to have you back. Not that you went anywhere. He's here every episode, right?
Right.
Ronald Embry, great to see you. Ronald, your prize shipped out today. So, and same Duchess, your prize shipped out today too. So you got stuff coming to you, folks.
It's awesome. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. And let's see. People are saying hello to one another. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Here we go. On our U83, I'm almost 40 and I can't do naps. I won't sleep at night otherwise. Okay. It's going to change when you hit 40, man. My wife says doesn't worry about me. I can sleep anytime, all the time. That was definitely not the case when I was in my 20s and 30s.
That's true.
Thanos Copter, which character are you painting? Oh yeah, for DJ Maka, the first place winner, he asked for a Skeletor, so I'm doing a portrait of Skeletor for him.
Nice.
So good. I'm excited about that.
Keep it clean.
I have 3 I'm going to do this weekend because I owe 2 to my most recent patrons, Carol Geis and Don Roberts, and then I'll be able to do DJ Makas as well. So, folks, if you want a painting, a good way to get one is to become a Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll try doing that too. Paint something.
You should.
And send out to the patrons. They deserve something.
Yeah.
They deserve a little something. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try something.
Yeah, do it. Do it. And by the way, I don't believe talent and ability makes good art. I think what makes good art is like the urgency to do it, or the heart behind it, the love behind it. It could be the stick drawing, and I'd love it if it's done with heart. It'll project something good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds super positive and cheesy, but it's true.
I just won't send anything to Bud.
You'll be disappointed if it's not something provocative.
Yeah, right.
Night one, good to see you. Yes, he's Skeletor on Tuesday. We're going to actually talk about that a little bit tonight. I threw in a couple of slides with he's Skeletor.
Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me.
Well, I just thought of it like literally 10 minutes ago.
So that 15-minute conversation we had before the show, you couldn't bother telling me?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I think I was getting the slides ready while we were talking.
Yeah, probably.
Alf Inflict, good to see you. And Payne's Toy Samples, great to see you. And all right, I think that's it. And you know what? I'm just realizing usually Bud sends Oz a script, so we're scriptless today too, because I didn't get anything in my email. Let me just double check. Let me double check Bud, see if he sent a script.
He knows not to send it to me.
Yeah.
If he didn't send out a script, Bobby's like, "This is the best day ever."
That's right.
We can just get right into it tonight.
I'm a little honestly, I love Bud, but I'm a little heartbroken, Bud.
Yep.
That just because Oz isn't here, you didn't send us a script.
It tells you what he thinks of us.
Yeah, exactly. He's just here for Oz. That's not true. That's not true.
No,
he's a Patreon of my channel.
Yeah, mine too.
Let's see. There was no email. We got to check Instagram real quick, and nothing there. All right. Well, that's okay.
He took the week off too.
I think so. You know what? Hey, the end of winter, when the seasons start to change, I feel like we all kind of need a little break and to renew ourselves, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
I do feel that. The only problem is I don't get the time to do it because my job is always going. So like that's got to be like in the next year. That's a priority of mine. Take a week off finally. I've been
you got to take
years.
You got to take a little break every now and then.
Yeah.
Giraffe, good to see you. And all right. So, hey, did you guys get anything good this week?
Yeah, I did. You guys can go first though if you got anything.
Shawn, did you get anything?
No, I've been good. I did. I'm trying to think. Did I? No. I've been unboxing things I've had and putting them on the shelf, so that doesn't count in my opinion. It's nice to see it again though. Yeah,
well, getting it out of the box, it's almost like a new thing.
Yeah, true. Actually, I'm wrong. Mythic Legion's pre-order came in, so I did get those.
Oh, cool.
I forgot to grab them. So while if you guys have something to share, I'll grab these.
Okay.
Cool. All right. And Ted Darkclaw, welcome. Good to see you. All right. So let's see. Bobby, you want to go first, or shall I go first?
You go first. I like what you got.
All right. Well, I like what you got too. So if those of you who follow my Instagram and my Facebook, I got these today from Mark from Wake Up Heavy podcast. He is also the co-host on the Cambridge and with Shawn podcast, where we talk about our interests in pop culture, weird things. He got me the Hamburglar Cactus Plant Flea Market adult Happy Meal toy. This is one that I wanted to get two from that first series, Grimace and this one, and I missed the boat on this one. He got it for a pretty good deal on eBay, so I got him now. Love
awesome.
this guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
And then this switchblade. And if any of you are old like us, you know that the switchblade is a comb, and you can order them. You can order them through the back pages of old comic books. And I can comb my beard now finally, which I haven't done in a few days. So this is awesome. I used to have one of these. Bobby, you said you had one of these as a kid too.
Yeah, I was just about to say, me and you are both badasses because we used to carry those around when we were like 10 years old.
Now, did you put it in your back pocket?
Yes, I did. It was in my back pocket.
Right. Hell yeah.
I pull it out. Pull my head.
Bobby and I were also talking about, and this is not kids, shut off your TVs right now. But you could take the comb out and turn it into a tool, a sharp tool. Take the comb out. But yeah, these things are great, man.
Yeah, I miss mine. I used to carry that around all the time.
Yeah,
I miss that.
The best.
Yeah, you think you're cool walking around with that thing, you know?
And totally. and the safety actually works.
Yeah, it does.
This thing, I think Mark said he got a bunch of them, and it came out to be about like $4 a pop. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is so cool. And it's aluminum, and
I remember coming back from recess, we'd all hang out in the bathroom chewing bubble gum and flicking our
switchblades. That's right.
Here to comb my hair, chew some bubble gum, and now I'm all out of bubble gum.
That's right.
Heck yeah.
Just don't stand next to the garbage.
No.
You get spit on.
Hillian Dread says he had a switchblade comb. Cool.
Yep, awesome.
And Giraffe says all combs should have that switchblade action. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that some of those, like when you go into Target these days, there's like a cool dudes section now in the bathroom supplies, and so there's like beard oils and things like that. I'm surprised there's not like hand-hewn wooden switchblade combs in the cool dude Target section.
I got to get another one of those. I had so much fun with that.
Yeah, I'll ask him where he got his, and then I think he got it on Amazon. So.
Oh, okay. I'll take a look.
And the box hasn't changed.
Oh, wow.
That's the other thing too. I'm a huge fan of awesome packaging, and when the packaging hasn't changed, what's that? Who's that cereal character? Quark or Quirk? I can't remember his name, but he hasn't changed in since the 60s. Quisp. Yeah,
Quisp.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm having a stroke. Yeah, that guy hasn't changed since the 60s.
I know, he's awesome.
All the other ones have changed.
Yep.
But not him.
Yeah. Yeah, Quisp is good. I used to eat that all the time as well.
Me too.
That and the Cereal Monsters. Those characters are great.
That's right. We're gonna do, when that Boo Berry comes out, we're gonna do a Cereal Monsters episode.
Yeah, we have to. I got him with me right now. So yeah.
Awesome.
I'm definitely getting him. Yep.
Yeah. So Shawn, what did you get?
All right. So I did the All-Stars 5 plus pre-order for Mythic Legions. I think it was last year. They were supposed to come out later this year, but through production, it ended up being bumped up to in the last month that they started sending these out. So I'll start off with this little guy. I'm not normally a goblin guy. This guy
that's
really
cool.
popped for me. His name is Swig. And I keep moving that way when I mean to another way. But his face is just, it's too good to pass up. He just looks like he would do something and just want to kill you behind your back all the time.
He looks like what's the name of that Dungeons and Dragons character they just announced?
Zarak.
Yeah, Zarak.
Yeah.
Looks like Zarak.
So I didn't even get time to like put on the bells and whistles. So his pauldrons aren't on. He does come with some accessories. He has like some potions, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got some stuff. Plus he's got the cloth goods, and that's pretty cool because they're just coming out finally in Mythic Legions with cloth goods like this. And there is a a wire in there, so you can pose it however you choose, which is really cool.
Cool.
Now,
So I really liked him.
you and Matt talked a little bit about that, right? Having mixed feelings about the cloth goods, the soft goods.
Matt has very much been like, he's not into the soft goods, but now he's starting to change. I'm somebody where I'm like, you know, I'd prefer if it, like in classics, for instance, we had a bunch of capes, Hero, King Randor, Sir Laserlot, whoever you want to talk about, Hordak even and stuff. And in some cases, they probably would have been better to be fabric instead of plastic or rubber, because they could be like, you could put them into things a little easier. If you wanted King Randor to fly the Talon Fighter, you could do that compared to, he's got that huge cloak behind him and all that. So it depends, but for the most part, I can see the benefits of both, depending on what you're doing, really. So this guy, he's another one. He's a Mercurian.
Wow.
And his name's Romulus, and he is a reissue. So he's an all-star. He was one of the first waves, if I remember right, in Mythic Legions. And instead of paying $250 for him, now you can pay $37 or $40, depending, and get one right there. So, and I've been eyeing him up ever since I got into the line. I was really excited that he was my must-have. Like, I was voting for him like crazy when they came out with him. Really happy that he made it. And one of the things that I really like about him is his boots, which is really weird to say, but he has the black metal, but then on the front it's weathered, so it looks like he's been through some things. So I really like that paint app on there. It's a little added bonus. And then the final one I'll show off is this guy.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
And I saw a picture of him on Toy Culprits Instagram today.
Yeah. He and his brother, it's Azar and Zazar. And right now, for the life of me, I can't remember which one this is because they both blend together. But they're both the same, except for the one's blue, the other one is yellow, obviously. And these two characters were the ones that really grabbed me when I first learned about Mythic Legions. Again, $200 some on the secondary market. If you go on eBay, up until recently, $40 now.
Nice.
So if that's one thing we do try to say when we do Legions class, is don't go crazy trying to go backwards, because all-star waves let you get some of those core figures that you might not be able to get normally for the reasonable price compared to $200+ on some of these.
Right.
And the other thing too, on both him and Romulus, is there are people that say the paint apps on them, because they're new, they're reissued, the paint apps are up to snuff with the newer things that are coming out. Whereas if you got the older ones, the paint might fade a little bit more, or the detail might not be there as much, because that was a first release. Now the company or the factory is caught up to what their standards are now, and they can really do some nice detail work and make it pop even more compared to the original. So that's another bonus of being patient. So
that's awesome.
Is the weapons on the yellow guy, are they like black metal?
They're matte finished.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the sword, and Jesse actually pointed this out to me when I was opening them on Saturday night. Yeah, it's a matte finish on here. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see it in the light there. Yep. And I kind of dig it. Like I was telling him, in the new Thor, the Love and Thunder movie, there's the Necro sword that Gore has. Love or hate the movie, that concept was pretty cool. And then when I saw this, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of that, because it's just got that like obsidian black.
Yeah.
And I really dig it. So I don't know if the original one had it matte painted or if it was just a solid black or whatever, but I really dig that as another detail for for this version. So
I'm on board for a matte black sword. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. If they made one, I will say the one on Romulus is more my speed. That's more like the warrior blade. If they did one like that for this, sign me up. I know there's people who can customize it, but I don't do that. I'd rather have it from them and just be like, okay, it's official. It's not gonna, the paint won't wear off or whatever. It'll be good to go. So, but yeah, I was really happy because I haven't had anything in a while, new release wise, and I'm like, hey, and I almost forgot. How ridiculous am I?
That's cool. Well, the Four Horsemen are probably watching maybe reruns of these shows sometimes because they know that some of the folks in here like the Mythic Legions.
Yep.
So they'll hear you say you want that sword in matte black, and you're gonna get one.
Hey, I'm good with that if that happens.
Yeah. When they do a figure based on you, it'll come with that black sword.
If they did, I would probably be like, I can retire from life now.
Yes, yeah.
But I doubt highly I'd be one of those people. There's tons of other people in the community who would be more deserving than me right now. But if that ever did happen, yeah, I would just, my wife would be like, you got a piece of plastic named after you. I'm like, you don't even understand. Like, this is amazing. So.
Yeah. I want a figure of me that looks like this. So Bobby, what'd you get?
I just got the NECA Dungeons and Dragons figure of Grimsword.
You just got it?
Well, I got it this week.
Nice.
Nice. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's huge for a 7-inch figure. He's bigger than 7 inches, of course, but
yeah,
he's just he's badass. He's real thick too. Real like there's look at the size difference.
Yeah, that's
I mean, for the like a 7-inch figure, he's huge compared.
Well, is he bigger than Warduke?
Yeah, he's taller. Yeah,
I thought so because I did see somebody bring that up online the other day.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why he's bigger, but yeah, he's huge compared. He's gonna fall over, so I'm just gonna sit.
The paint application on that guy, it kind of feels like it looks a little bit matte, and
it is, and it's very subtle. It's not bright colors, nothing. It's kind of dark. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
he's gonna look great with classics, and he'll look great with mythics.
Yep. I don't have any mythics, but yeah, for people that do get them, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool. Yeah, lay him down.
Yeah, because he keeps falling over. I'm trying to get him to stand right, and I'm afraid I'm fucking up this motherfucker.
Yeah, that's a beautiful figure. You don't want that one falling and
no. I had him setting up good, but now I had to bring him over here to show you guys. Now he's gonna fall over if I don't do it right.
Yeah, got to do it right. We don't. Those NECA figures are like scary when they fall. Risk breaking any joints.
Yep. Yeah, he's pretty sturdy. He's pretty, like I said, he's real thick compared to like other figures I've had. So yeah, he might last if he falls over.
Let's see. We've got some comments here to catch up on. Giraffe, way back earlier in the conversation, I'm not a big fan of how they frosted bits and added 3 more marshmallow charms. Oh, talking about Lucky Charms. Yeah, hey, you know what? I've never been a huge fan of Lucky Charms. Sorry, I hope that doesn't anger anybody, but
that pisses me off. No.
I love it. You made me nervous. I just sweated a little bit.
It's good. Keep you on your toes. That cereal upsets my stomach. The way I don't know what it's made with. But
the marshmallows are kind of weird.
I don't know if it's the marshmallows. I think it's just the oat part of it or whatever. It's just whatever it's that stuff. It gets me. Anyway, who cares?
Yeah. Part of why I would be interested in the cereal. I don't care how it tastes, honestly. Would be the artwork on the box.
Yes.
And Lucky Charms, the Lucky Leprechaun guy, never really did it for me. I was never like super into that image. But I would eat, Frankenberry and Count Chocula, and I really loved the box art for Apple Jacks back in the day. It was like so cool. And I'd eat any of that weird stuff and not complain about it. But for some reason, I never got into Lucky Charms.
Yeah, my brother and sister, we'd fight over the box every morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
Who gets to look at it while we're eating?
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, that's how it was. Yeah.
Lucky Charms reminds me of I used to go over to Jesse's place during the summer, and we'd have sleepovers, and usually like that night we would go out and go swimming. The next morning we'd wake up and have at least 1 or 2 bowls of Lucky Charms. My mom would never let in our house, so I would get I'd ask him, can I have another bowl of it, because I get it at his house all the time. So like anytime I think Lucky Charms, I think of like summer vacation, I think of pool parties and stuff like that. But and I still to this day I crave it every now and then, but it's not one that we keep around because the kids would probably I can imagine them vibrating through the walls with how much sugar would be in that.
Oh yeah, sure.
So how would you like it where I grew up? I in Chicago. I lived 2 miles from General Mills.
Oh
plants.
geez.
So in the summer, yeah. So in the summer you'd smell Cocoa Puffs, and man, it'd make you hungry. And I'm a chocoholic, so yeah.
That's torture. And Cocoa Puffs are a special kind of chocolate.
Yes,
it's a different kind of chocolate flavor than any other chocolate flavor, and I love it for that reason.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, I said it was good.
Yeah, good stuff. Graf says, "Does that yellow demon guy have goat legs or human legs?"
He's got the hooves.
Oh, the hooves.
The hooves.
That's cool.
See it just like his brother.
Man, the boots in Mythic Legions are really cool designs. I think that they would do a really good job of that. Would be great. Mythic, there should be Kiss inspired, 4 Kiss inspired figures. They would fit in the line really well because they, that 4 Horsemen, they would design the shit out of those like Kiss inspired figures. Imagine
or the Alice Cooper leopard boots.
Totally. Oh my god. You heard it here, Mythic Legions guys. 4 Horsemen, you gotta do Alice Cooper and Kiss, and you don't have to do anything. Keep doing the thing you're doing. It's great. Let's see. There's a lot of we got Brick something here. Good to see you.
Hey.
And I don't know what he's responding to, but it's something. Let's see. He's saying, go back to this. Evening, folks. You guys are magically delicious.
Don't start talking like Bud.
I know. Well, Bud's not here yet, so we can have all those conversations and without him getting too excited. And let's see. On our U83, who remembers the Ghostbusters? Oh yeah, the Ghostbusters.
I do.
I remember that.
Good Ghostbusters, and one of my absolute all-time favorites is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cereal. Oh, really? I never tried that, but that basically Chex with marshmallows. It was amazing.
That sounds.
I would eat bowls of that every morning, and then I'd go play Castlevania for the rest of the day. Like that was my summer vacation. Like in 1990, amazing. I would just eat bowls of that, and then I'd be trying to play like the NES Castlevania or the Batman video game that I could never beat, or Metroid. Those were like my games that year. So
that's very cool.
Yeah,
Metroid was great. Metroid was
absolutely, yeah.
Oh, Brick something. Put Cocoa Puffs in your iced coffee. Are you serious? That sounds amazing. I will totally do that. I didn't know that they did that on Batu. Batu is the Galaxy's Edge planet, right? So that's at Disneyland. That's cool.
My question is, who drinks iced coffee? Blah. Blah. Do you do?
I've done it a few times. I don't do it all the time though.
I don't even like my coffee cold. I couldn't imagine ice.
I will. This summer when it gets up to 115 here, in the afternoon, when I want a coffee in the afternoon, it's black with ice. That's
really
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
amazing.
It is amazing. It's very amazing.
Honestly, with how it takes me a while. Like if I'm working, I'll forget to drink it, so then I end up drinking it cold anyway. So I'm just programmed to it, and it doesn't bother me.
All right, that's another thing. Yeah. That's something I will never do is forget to drink my coffee.
Yeah. I get in the zone too easily, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot to do. Oh wait, I have kids. Oh crap, I got to go check on them. Or, that kind of thing.
I wish that I wish that I could prioritize other things over my first cup of coffee, but I don't. And Brooke something says, I still haven't opened my Mythic Legions All-Star 5. And yes, Kiss Legions. Absolutely. Yeah. Brooke, you're a musician. You have appreciation for these things. Let's see. The Weekend Gamer, welcome. Says a Kiss tribute through Mythic Legions would be great. Gene Simmons is a big shill, so he'll probably go for it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right.
He totally will. I'm just afraid that Gene Simmons would ask too much in return from Four Horsemen for them to do it because he's a little bit.
It's more of an 80-20%.
Yeah, I don't know. Gene Simmons would be great as one of those large trolls, with some armor on him. Like that would be amazing. Like really push the boundaries of interpretation with these.
He'd be great as a bog goblin because those have this crazy tongue that comes out, and they're the only ones that have like a tongue that or the Krampus.
Oh yeah,
think about it because he's got that really long tongue too.
Yeah, I'm all for definitely the Krampus.
Mm-hmm.
And put a drop of Gene's blood in the paint. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
You guys know about that, right? The
comic.
Blood in the ink in the comics.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What a scheme.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
And they really spread that one out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
yeah, I'm the same. Iced coffee in the summer, hot coffee in the winter. So Thanos Copter, he's from the Central Valley, man. It's rough here. I know it gets hot elsewhere in the country. I know that. But it's like when it gets to 115 and it's dry and the sun is just beating down on you, it's the iced coffee is where it's at.
We talk a lot about food today. Are we all hungry or something?
Gene Simmons is a big collector of his own stuff, so he would probably.
Of course, he's a narcissist. He's gonna collect his own self.
He's the ultimate narcissist.
Oh man.
If the Horsemen don't, Mattel should. Gene tongue lasher, perfect crossover. Okay, as Nolan is saying, if a Horseman don't do it, Mattel should do a Gene crossover.
Well, when Gene Simmons uses the Kiss toilet paper, he takes all the faces and he only wipes his butt without his. He uses the other three and wipes his butt, and he always puts his off to the side.
If that is not true, I believe it.
So he's got a stack of just Gene Simmons toilet paper by himself.
Yeah. John says, I'll take a chocolate caramel frap any day. I understand the desire to have that, but I need black. I'm all about the black coffee. Sorry, John. But I know everyone else in my household loves the sweet stuff.
My coffee's black with a little bit sweet and low, and that's it. And hot.
Oh, black, sweet and low, and hot at a diner.
Yeah, right.
Every morning. That's how I picture Bobby.
Thanks. Hey, I'm an old man drinking my coffee.
He's waiting for his next case.
That's the kind of diner.
When's that damsel going to walk through the door, stinking of trouble and secrets?
That's right. Like that last issue number 2 of the Masterverse.
Yeah, Man at Arms Detective.
The noir section was brilliant. I loved it. It was so good.
Absolutely. I would love to read like a whole mini series of just Man at Arms being a detective and attorney and see what that would be like,
Frank Miller style, like Sin City style. You and the dudes were talking about that a little bit, and I definitely I would love to see a whole series. Actually, for so far of all the little different styles that they presented, I could go with a whole series for each of those, even the silly ones.
Absolutely, same here.
Yeah, instead of each one being kind of like a Twilight Zone the movie where there are these different scenarios happening throughout the whole movie, I'd rather see just one of those. That's my only critique of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hillian Dread pre-ordered the Killer Clowns from Outer Space 35th anniversary box set from GameStop. It's 4 Blacklight Funkos, 4 pins, and a keychain. So that's awesome. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Crazy.
It's an amazing movie. It's I accept it. Have you guys seen it?
Oh yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet.
Oh wow.
I am missing out on a lot of these. So.
You gotta, Shawn, you gotta venture into the Killer Clowns from Outer Space territory.
At least once.
At least once. You just gotta watch it.
Just don't eat popcorn while you watch it.
I don't usually eat when I watch movies, so that's an easy one for me.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see. The Spaghetti Monster was supposed to be coming. I can't remember who's making it though. The Spaghetti Monster. Nolan, tell us a little bit more about that. Do you guys know what he's talking about?
Mm-mm.
Dickies. Yeah, the band, the Dickies wrote the theme song for Killer Clowns.
I had their first 2 albums on vinyl before. I
Great.
only have the first one now on CD.
Fantastic.
They're good stuff.
So guys, our theme for tonight is the toys that got away. And Bobby, Shawn, before you popped in, Bobby and I were talking a little bit about it in the green room, and it could be kind of up for interpretation, where we think in toys that we had, that we that were given away, that actually got away from us, and that we wish we had, or are they toys that we never had, that never came into our possession, and so therefore they got away? And I did a little bit of both in my batch. So we didn't really. You guys just sent me the images, and we didn't really talk about it ahead of time. So this will be fun. And everybody in the chat, feel free to chime in and let us know what toys got away from your lives.
Yeah, my list is toys I never had and I still don't have.
Yeah, mine was the same way, where I was like, ones that along the way I was like, why didn't I ever get this one? But I can also easily jump into the ones that I had to let go of, and that could be a whole thing, because I know there were definitely ones that I was not thrilled with having to part with when I was a kid or even as an adult. So
yeah. I had a couple of the toys from a few of the toys from my list, and then a couple of them were things that I wanted, that I coveted, that other friends had, that I had seen in the store. So we're starting off with Bobby tonight, and I was kind of already expecting that you were gonna present the black hole figures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you and I have talked about that a little bit. These are definitely, grail pieces in my opinion. If I ever see them out there in the wild, I'm gonna have a hard time resisting them, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So tell us about your black hole figures here.
Well, these came out 1979 from Mego. They're Mego figures. I cared more about wanting to get the robots than the humans. I had a friend that was in grade school with me, and he would bring them to school, and we'd play with them during recess when I was really, really young. And I really wanted them. And yeah, these I've seen these at a toy store not too long ago.
Oh,
in Arizona, but they're going for like $100 a piece, and they're loose.
Wow.
But I really, really wanted to get that Maximilian, and they had one of those, but I still haven't bought it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to get these someday. They're I got those new ones that came out with the Disney, like you got, Skelly, behind you. Yeah, those I got. But I still want to get these Mego ones. Like I said, I don't care about the humans. I wanted more of the robots. And then the I forgot what they call that one. I can't read it from here. The human with the silver mask over his face.
Humanoid.
Yeah, the humanoid. Yeah, that one's great too.
That was the most. Even no, we can spoil this movie because if you haven't seen it, you should have. But there's 2 scenes that are terrifying to me when Maximilian kills Durant.
Yep.
And then, but the scariest moment is when when they take off the humanoid mask, right?
Yes, yes.
Like a zombie person underneath there. Terrifying for a Disney movie. This was like the stuff of nightmares, man.
Yeah, I freaked out when I saw that as a kid when they pulled that mask or that silver mask off his face, and he's just like, oh, I'm like, oh man, that was frightening. And even with the leader, I can't remember his name, the doctor, when he was floating in the black hole and his hair was like all messed up and he went inside Maximilian, that kind of scared the hell out of me too when I was a kid.
Well, and they're going to hell. I mean,
yeah,
that's like, first of all, that's pretty gutsy of Disney to do that, but also like terrifying to kids, kids watching it.
Yeah, I watched it last year again, and it was on Disney Plus, and I watched it, and man, it's a good movie. I like it.
Yeah,
it deserves more respect, I think, than what it does. I even had the lunchbox when I was a kid, the metal lunchbox of the black hole.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that movie. It's a good one. I always loved the robots, and I had a friend. His name was Vincent, and I'm Bobby. So we'd pretend we were the robots when we were little.
Yeah, you gotta change your subtitle under your name to Old Bob now.
No, because I don't want to be Old Bob. I'm going to be 50 this year, but I don't want to be called old.
Shawn, have you seen this movie?
I feel like Captain America and Winter Soldier right now, where I'm making my list going, I haven't seen that one yet. And then I'm in the same boat of this as Killer Clowns on this one.
Yeah.
I've known about it. I have heard things, so it's not like it's spoiled at this point because, I mean, the stuff is out there. You pick up these things here and there. Yeah. But no, that's one that I'm going to have to sit down and take a watch of too, because I've heard a lot of good things. And from what I understand, like, it is pretty crazy Disney let that kind of story happen, but that was also in there. Let's do whatever. Let's throw things at the wall phase, because they were really like they weren't figuring themselves out in that era in the 70s and going into the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It took a little time. So it doesn't surprise me they let them go there, but it also is like, but it's Disney. It's like we have that feeling about Disney, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun they didn't.
Watcher in the Woods. I mean, that was terrifying. And that was a Disney movie. And what was the other one? Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot that's Disney.
I mean, great stuff. It's probably one of my favorite eras of Disney movies. I even like The Black Cauldron. But good stuff.
Yeah, the black hole, like Star Wars, feels real expansive when you watch it. The black hole feels claustrophobic.
Yes, it does.
It's all just you're stuck. And that's what's great about it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we got Ostradamus Toys. We got Oz here saying, "Sorry, I'm late." That's all right.
Yeah, you should be back in bed.
Go relax. Take that nap going, man.
So much for relaxing.
Yeah. Now we're just going to stress you out.
Yeah.
HP Brown Saucecraft, welcome. He says I had Vincent and Maximilian. That's cool. Cool stuff, man. All right. So then the next on your list, you've got this particular character, Sidekill from
Yes. I always wanted Sidekill. When I got GoBots for Christmas, he was one I did not get. And I've always wanted him, and he's the leader of the bad ones, so the Renegades. So I just love his design. I like motorcycles as well, so that fits really well with me. But yeah, he's just such a cool character, and I like GoBots more than I like Transformers. And he was one of the characters I've always wanted to have, and I've been looking for him on and off the past few years, but I'm a stickler for paint and completeness. I don't care if it's carded, but if it's loose, it has to be complete for me to get it. And I just haven't pulled the trigger on him yet. But yeah, he's one of my gets I need to get. Not like a Grail piece, but because he's not super expensive. But yeah, I still want him.
The card art too is great.
Oh yeah, well it's the 80s. They've always had great card art for anything. But yeah, GoBots always stood out too. It's got the big name there, and then the character on the side. It's cool stuff.
Oz says Don's here too. So hi, Don.
Hey, Don.
And Weekend Gamer says, hey, Bobby, Disney produced a pop-up book based on the Black Hole movie. Do you have that? That thing is awesome. My mom never bought me the figures, but I got hours of enjoyment through that book.
No, I don't do pop-up books. They scare me.
Oh, really? That's
no, I'm just kidding. Just the one that Bud said he was going to make is going to scare me, but no, I don't have the pop-up book. No.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, so GoBots, I've already mentioned this too. I was hesitant to put GoBots on my list because I always liked Psykill as well, but the one that I really want to have back in my collection is the Army tank.
Okay.
I can never remember the name of the tank, but that's one that every once in a while I'll look on eBay again, and it's hard to find it complete. I'm picky like you, Bobby. I make sure that it's is close to the version that I wanted to have as a kid. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of tanks out there that are missing the I'm blanking out. Missing the
like the turret part of it or whatever.
Yeah.
The gun. Yeah.
The gun.
Yeah. Yeah. There's two other GoBots I really want to get as well. I should have probably put that on this list, but Screwhead is one that I've always been fascinated with. I just think he's awesome looking.
He is. He's great.
And Copter, that's the other one I would really like to get, but I can never find one with the blades. They're either broken or something. So yeah, but those three.
That's one you'll want to get on card and then open.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
but I know Screwhead's very reasonable. You can buy him. I'm stickler for. I don't like that silver scraping off. Like how it peels and cracks off like that. Yeah, so I got to find a real good one.
Garaf says, was the Army tank the one where the head was on the top of the tank? Yeah, it was. Yep. Yeah. So all right, let's see what's next on the list. Mr. Mouth.
Yes.
I love this.
This was a game I remember seeing the commercial for like a million times when I was really little, and I always wanted to play it. And it would have been fun with me and my brother and sister. And I've asked for it for a couple times for Christmas. I was gonna say Halloween, Christmas, and we never got one. But I've always wanted it because I always liked the commercial. And you just flip the thing, and the way he looks, he's just weird looking and super weird. Yeah, that just looks like a fun game. I mean, when I was little, it looked like a real fun game to play, and that was I just love the way it looks. It's just so cool looking. I always wanted it, never got one.
Like a stone Pac-Man, totally.
Yeah.
This game always reminded me of Hungry Hungry Hippos too.
Yeah.
Sort of a similar concept in a way.
Yeah, we had that, and that's a loud game, man. That clacking of the plastic.
Yep.
But this is opposite in a way. Instead of grabbing it, you're actually shooting at the mouth. So the way the head would spin it open and turn around and spin. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It's amazing. I love games like this where the purpose is to make the device do something or to work with the movement of the device. Super cool.
It's all timing. Yeah,
it's all timing. HP Brown Sauce Craft says Destroyer was the Super GoBot. That's right. Destroyer. Yeah. That's awesome. And Brick Something says, going back to GoBots, my brother had the future car GoBot, bigger one. Forget the name. Cool looking car. Robot, not so much. Yeah.
Yeah, the silver black one. Yeah. I forgot the name of that one. My friend had that too. It's in the cartoon as well.
The GoBots had like I know that I use this word every time we have we do a show, but at a wonky quality.
Yes.
And that part of the reason why I love Masters so much is because of the wonkiness, and GoBots really appealed to that part of me that liked that.
Yeah, they're easier to go from robot to vehicle, and I like that they were smaller because I thought Transformers was a little too big, and they were heavy, and I didn't like playing with them, but I liked playing with the GoBots more. Yeah. Because I did have a couple of Transformers, but I had more GoBots.
Yeah,
I preferred those more.
yeah, I'm with you on that too. And so Brick something says it was HR Puffin stuff looking. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. You could paint this to look like a hamburger, and it would look like Mayor McCheese, or
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the
Eating
missing
a pot
McDonald
brownie.
Lane character. It's,
Totally.
it's Mary McCheese's stoned, lonely brother,
Yeah,
Mr. Mouth.
the pot brownies.
Yeah. You got any Moose brownies left? No, I don't. You know, friend Ronald.
That's hilarious.
What's Grimace got?
Yeah, we're hanging out with Grimace all day. That'd freak him out.
That would freak anybody out. That's why I love Grimace so much.
Yeah.
And this is
the last one. Yeah.
last on your list. I wanted to save this for last on your list because this is so good too.
Yeah, the Clash of the Titans set from Mattel. I never had them. Always wanted them. Especially, I always wanted Charon, and I wanted. His name's slipping right now.
Calibus?
Yeah, Calibus. Yeah, I was going to say Clytus, but that's Flash Gordon. But in the Kraken, I had a chance to get the Kraken, but I chose to get the Rancor. And this whole set is pretty cool. And I've seen this at the toy shop too that I went to, and they're expensive still. But I don't think they are incomplete. I think they were missing the weapons and stuff. But Calibus and the Charon one, I really wanted to get those two characters and the Kraken. Perseus and the soldier, I don't care too much about, but those three I really want to get someday. Kraken I probably will never get. It's expensive as hell, but
isn't that crazy? Like,
yeah,
you chose the Rancor, which you can get for like $75 now, and and this thing, the Kraken, it's ridiculously expensive on the market now.
And I believe the Clash of Titans were out for a couple of years before that, but I remember it was at Sears. I was at Sears. That my mom said you can either get this one or this one for your birthday, and I chose the Rancor because I like Star Wars more than I did Clash of Titans.
Yeah,
and I still have the Rancor, so if I picked that, I would have still had him. So it would have been.
I think Giraffe is making a joke on Hasbro Pulse. If the Kraken came with a bag of bones, you might have picked him instead. Because isn't that a joke? Like, I think that the Rancor Black Series Rancor that Hasbro Pulse like the accessories that it came with were really underwhelming. Like, that's hilarious.
But yeah, I like the movie. Big fan of the movie, and I loved it as a kid. And it was scary in certain parts, Medusa.
Oh yeah,
and all that. But yeah. It would be neat to get some of these figures, though. I'd like to get them.
This would be a great thing for NECA to get on board with and recreate.
Yeah.
It's probably an available license.
Can you imagine a Calibus figure like that? Like they did like Grimsword or something, or like your Mythic Legions? I mean, that would just
be amazing. And you know that they would honor the Harryhausen designs.
Yes. Well, I know someone was coming out with Medusa, but and all of them, I can't remember the company, and they looked really, really good, but they're expensive. I think they're like $500 a piece or something.
Oh, geez, yeah,
there's something I forgot it. I don't know if they were statues or if they were figures. I can't remember. But I remember seeing Medusa, and she looked spot on from the movie. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that out there yet. I haven't come across that online.
Yeah.
HP Brown Sauce says I had the whole series minus the Kraken. That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to see HP Brown Sauce Crafts childhood collection, man. It sounds
no shit.
Sears, what's that? Oh, that's sad. I know.
Yeah, I know. I used to go to Sears and Service Merchandise to get toys. So
the Sears catalog every holiday season was amazing. Amazing.
That was our internet at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. So Grindhead Jim's company is doing a take on the Kraken. Looks good. Resurrection Toys. So folks, look that up. I'm gonna definitely look that up too. Thank you for that, Brick. any Kraken that looks like this Kraken, I'm on board with.
Yeah, right.
All right. Next on the list, we're gonna move on to me. Actually, sorry, Shawn, I'm saving you for the last tonight.
That's okay. No problem. No problem.
All right. So this is
Oh.
this is one that that I did have, and I did not care for this toy as a kid. I was more interested in my Masters of the Universe and my Star Wars figures. Someone got me this Mr. T for Christmas, and I loved Mr. T. I still love Mr. T to this day, but I just didn't play with this guy that much, and it didn't take very long for my mom to give him away, and that's a huge regret that I have in my life. I didn't get a chance to enjoy this particular figure, this particular version of Mr. T. This guy was great. I think he came out in '82 or '83. Did you guys see this one around?
I don't recall seeing Mr. T figure back then. I maybe I don't remember too much.
Just seeing this image just brought back like a ton of nostalgia for me. But I didn't have this. I had the A-Team figure, the big one.
Yeah, that's the ones I remember.
And those, that was like a whole thing, me trying to get those figures, because my mom, when I was, I don't remember how old when the A-Team was, probably 5 or 6 years old or something. And my mom just automatically, they had weapons. She's like, no, you're not watching this. And I basically, I somehow managed to get her to get me the figures for it, at least, even though I had no idea what, I didn't know the show very well. I had the basic idea of what the show was about. But yeah, like I remember this, but I never had one too.
Yeah. So. This guy, this Mr. T is the best. I'm a huge Mr. T fan, and he was such a punk rocker before I knew what that was. He was himself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody tell him otherwise, or to try and be anything else. And that, to me, even as a kid, I knew that was friggin' amazing. Mm-hmm. This figure came with like loose jewelry, like doll clothes, all kinds of cool stuff. And I think his earrings were even, those feathers were like removable and stuff. But yeah, this guy was amazing. Every once in a while, I'll look him up on eBay, and you can never really find him complete at a reasonable price. But yeah, this guy's great. On RU83 says, are you getting the WWE Superstars, Mr. T? If I see him in the store, I'm definitely going to get him. I am very happy with with the WW Eternia Mr. T that I found. I found him at Walmart when he first came out. What is it? WWE, I forget what the term is for those Eternian influenced Mattel wrestler figures. But that Mr. T is fantastic. He comes with the King Randor armor, and the fist, and the Fisto fist, and the Jitsu chopping hand. But if I see this other guy, yeah, I'll probably pick him up. I'm dedicated to Mr. T. Brick something, man. I remember all these. I appreciate you guys being old like me.
I feel good. I'm appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you for making us feel appreciated, Brick. Yes, thank you, John. Masters of the WWE. Yes.
Yeah, he's got a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's a big fan of those. I'm a fan of wrestlers up until like 84. After that, I'm just not a huge fan. And George the Animal Steel is my favorite of all time.
Yeah, I love George. Yeah.
If I would love if they would do a WWE Superstars of George the Animal Steel, I'd totally get on board with that. there wouldn't be much to him. Just a big hairy dude with a bald head and a green tongue.
Yeah.
Next on my list is this one. This is one. This is one that I'm happy to say this is another one that I had. There was a toy store here in Fresno, and I talk about it briefly in in one of the previous Cambridge and with Shawn podcast episodes. But it was called Arthur's Toys, and they had a really weird selection of toys, and they had a doll section, but the doll section had this big long row. They had all the ventriloquist dolls, and then you would walk through this hallway of ventriloquist dolls, which was creepy and scary, and you work your way into like the girl section, the girl doll section, and some of them were like really fancy things. It was the strangest toy store for a town like Fresno, but this Groucho Marx was one of my prized possessions as a kid. He came with a cigar.
Yeah. Yep.
This guy is amazing. I'm really sad I don't have him.
I still got it. I still have mine.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would put it in the kitchen once in a while. My son would walk into the kitchen and be like, "Get that fucking thing out of here!" Because it scared the hell out of him.
Oh man. Yes, I do know that if I were to get this again, that our daughters and my wife would just hate my guts. Like if I were to bring this into the house, it would be a terrifying thing for everybody else. But you know, Groucho's the best, and this thing is amazing. It's amazing that they made these. Number one.
Yeah. I had him as a kid, and I used to wrestle with him. I used to pretend like wrestling with him.
Yeah.
And then I bought him again as an adult, and I love it. If you want, I'll send you mine.
I will buy it from you. We'll figure something out, Bobby. That would be amazing.
Sure. Yeah, because I've had it pretty much my whole life. You know. So.
Does he have his glasses in the cigar?
No, I am missing the glasses and the cigar.
That's normal.
He has the shoes and he's dressed up and stuff. Yeah.
So cool. That's what HP Brown Sauce Craft. I know HP's from the same area. He says Arthur's was more like FAO Schwartz, but very seedy and strange. Yes. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. But Ray is saying hi to Thanos. Groucho didn't bother me, but I saw Magic as a kid and really hated those puppets.
I'll tell you, Magic is such a great movie.
Yeah.
And I have the book as well. And the movie is close to the book.
Anthony Hopkins, it's a masterful performance.
Yeah.
It's one of the scariest movies about ventriloquist dolls ever.
Yep. And the guy who wrote that book also wrote that pirate movie. What is that? The one with Carrie Elways.
Oh, the Princess Bride.
Yeah, Princess Bride. Yeah, he wrote that. So he wrote both of those.
Cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. Yep. Shawn looks like he wants to share something. Let's see what you got, Shawn.
So this reminded me of this. This is little Shawn back in the day.
Oh!
And I had the W.C. Fields one, and I also think I had the Charlie McCarthy.
Oh, that's the best.
It was part of me loving the Muppet Show that made me go here. And it's like, as weird as this sounds, I've always thought I probably had another life before this, because a lot of the old stuff of that era always felt like I knew it before anybody explained what it was to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So like W.C. Fields, a lot of the old movies and stuff like that, I didn't need a whole lot of explaining of some of those things. And I don't know, like Groucho would be another one. And it's like, it for some reason, it was in the ether when I was born. And I inherently was drawn to those kind of
100%. It was, how did like we know who W.C. Fields, Groucho Marx, and Laurel and Hardy, and Howdy Doody. I'm just looking at Charlie McCarthy. How did we know who these characters were before? I mean, how is that even possible? It
Well, they
felt
all had a resurgence in the 70s,
yeah.
you know, so that was a thing too. That's probably why we know more about them.
They would show up on TV,
Yeah,
in books, like yeah. I mean, it
because
was
I know the Marx Brothers used to have like they would bring all those movies back out in the 70s again, and they created all new fans for them.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what it was. My dad was a World War II veteran. He had me in his mid 50s.
mm,
So,
yeah,
and then I also had on my mom's side, my grandparents were actually younger than my dad. So it was this weird, like they had things they brought to the table that made me appreciate
yeah,
the vintage and the older stuff, like from the
yep,
30s and 40s.
yeah.
And so like I inherently as a kid, I like the ventriloquist dummies did not scare me. Those were actually really fun because
yes,
my favorite Muppets on the Muppet Show were Statler and Waldorf
Yeah.
because they were so distinct. Like that was the one thing that blew my mind when I was a kid was they had the most distinct looking faces. All the other characters were fine, but the minute you gave me Statler and Waldorf with those faces and they had all the like the big chin and the big, you know, the sleepy eyes and all that stuff on Waldorf and all that, and Statler with the chin, it's like those I ate those up. I went crazy for them, and I think that could be part of why these were what they were to me because they really it was like a caricature of someone
Yeah.
famous, but it wasn't like a really crazy caricature. It was more like a Muppet version of them in a
Yeah.
sense.
yeah.
So it was easy to fall in love with that kind of stuff for me.
I mean, hell, even my first tattoo was Groucho Marx. So
That's amazing. I think yeah, Shawn, you and I bonded a little bit about Statler and Waldorf not too long ago when I
That's
picked
right.
the new ones that came out, Diamond Select, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but it's very strange, like how people from our generation grew up with these characters, accepted them as ventriloquist dolls because anybody born after Goosebumps will not like, ventriloquist.
Yeah.
it's true.
But even the Bozo the Clown ventriloquist doll, I wanted it. I wanted W.C. Fields. I'm so glad you had that, Shawn. Do you still have it?
I don't think so because that is I could do a whole episode on talking about how my dad ruined all my collection when I was older.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we'll do a whole episode on that.
When I found that out, it was like one of the worst days of my adult life because I thought all of my toys were going to be something I could bring with me. And then all of a sudden I found out how he took care of them and I'm like, really? Like this is how you're treating all the stuff that I've had all those years and I never got rid of. Like, okay. So it wasn't like they gave it away. It was they left it out in the weather for 10 years.
Yeah,
did not even know that was what was happening to my stuff. Otherwise I would have found a way to protect it and preserve it. But no, like I'm sure that had to be gone with those and like I had the old there was a Miss Piggy puppet and she was more like a rubbery like a head if I remember right, and then I had a Kermit, I had Gonzo, and I think I had a Rolf, and all of those out in the elements probably got moldy.
That's
and
awful. Well,
I was livid when I found that out. So yeah.
Well, one thing we know for sure, we'll never do that to our kids.
Nope. I will never do that to my kids. No.
Yeah. Brick something said something really funny here. Oh, I want a Karl Marx ventriloquist dummy.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, Mom has Bozo too. Hey, that's cool.
That is.
Man, these were so amazing. These are things that I will go on eBay and look at about once a month. And it's tempting, and I'm always like, I'm always on a budget, so I'm thinking, do I get this or do I get that?
Well, how much is the Groucho going for?
I haven't looked this up in a little bit. Let's look it up right now.
We need to get Oz a Bozo one.
Oh man, we should each have one. Oh man, do a whole show of.
Well, that's what I said before.
You did.
Now you're ruining it.
Oh,
I thought it'd be more of a surprise.
all right,
Well,
everybody, don't watch. Don't just ignore this conversation.
Bobby meant it in a different way, though. Like this,
Yeah.
this is just us getting ventriloquist dummies. But
Yeah,
the other option that he's talking about is a little more special. So.
And we won't talk about what he meant. So
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking it up right now. And so in the box, actually, this one image, it's so funny. I saw it earlier. I got this image from the same when I did an image search. $137.77 in the box. Missing his accessories. Oh, there's one here. It's $80, $20 shipping with the glasses and the cigar.
Yeah.
Cigar looks a little damaged. And then it gets terrifying because it's just ventriloquist dolls.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I want to say that the glasses was held on by a rubber band, if I recall.
It was.
Right.
They were, yeah. I think that it was the same thing with W.C. Fields' hat too. I think there was a rubber band.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, I just remember the rubber band around the back of the head. Yeah.
Yep.
That's why it was not in that photo of me probably at age 4, because I probably played with that thing so much that hat was already lost at least a year before that photo was taken.
You probably wore the hat.
I possibly. Oh, I had him.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so this is one that I didn't have that I really wanted as a kid. The fact that you could turn his head around and it was a different head on the back, and he's got those super weird arms, and like the very sort of organic, texture of the skin that looks like raw muscle. I just thought this guy was very cool. And Four Horsemen did a newer version of this, I believe, right?
They tried to do like a revival line, and in that one they had like Adam Power was 2 different figures rather than having it that he flipped at the waist the original way. So they had the blue version and they had the human looking version, if I remember right, but they weren't 6-inch figures, if I remember right. They were a little smaller than that.
Interesting.
They tried and it didn't get any traction when they tried it.
These figures there's a bunch of them. The whole line is interesting and a little creepy. This guy was my favorite one.
Yeah, I don't recall these. When did these come out?
This is like 83, I think.
Oh, really? That early, huh?
Yep.
Wow, I never seen them.
Grip Tog. It wasn't. This was kind of a response to Star Wars, I suppose. But there was something else going on. It was very sort of like the hero was really veiny and gross looking, and that was sort of a strange phenomenon that these figures kind of actually worked. Didn't have any of those as a kid. Loved Power Lords from afar. Yeah, me too. Four Horsemen's versions were amazing looking. I'm sure that the designs influenced Cosmic Legions for sure.
Actually, when I did intern for the day last April, Eric Treadaway actually said that is it Wayne Barlow? I think that's his name.
Yes.
Wayne Barlow. He said that guy blew his mind when he was a kid and he read the books that he wrote about like the aliens that he'd come up with, and those definitely are fueling what's coming out in Cosmics, because even some of this stuff you can definitely see influences of in Cosmic at this point. So
for sure.
Definitely if you're into these, keep an eye out for that, because it might not be Power Lords 100%, but it's going to have this kind of a flavor to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really enjoying the designs of the Cosmic Legions figures. Here we go. Google the influence. Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials. Great aliens from science fiction literature. Yes, Wayne Douglas Barlow. Yep, that's awesome. This is another one that I'll look up every once in a while. He's never too expensive, but I want him to be in good condition if I do get him. And then next on my list this is another group of figures that I never got, but the Dune figures. I mean, any action figures made for kids based on a David Lynch movie is amazing to me. So these figures were very cool. I remember seeing them on the shelves. The Baron Harkonnen from that movie was disgusting.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I mean, they're just cool. Very cool. That worm.
I didn't even know they made figures. So
Hey,
that's what I knew.
Yeah, I didn't either. I never saw these before.
Oh, so I was at a street sale not too long ago, and my friend who's a toy dealer, he got a boxed sandworm. He bought a boxed sandworm there. It was like $80 or something.
Yeah.
You know, in box, and it's stiff. You just sit it there on your shelf essentially, but they're cool, man. These are great.
Stiff worm.
Stiff worm for your shelf, or stiff worm in a box. How about that?
Yeah. Box your
That's
stiff worm.
That's an SNL skit if there was ever a name.
It's
like the sequel to the other one.
Yeah, for sure. It's the one. It's like the rough draft version.
Yeah.
My dick in a box and his stiff worm in a box.
That's right. And we're talking about Dune and Dick Tracy here, okay?
Yeah, Dick Tracy.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. SJ Curtis joined us. Good to see you, SJ. And I do know that we missed Eldor.
Eldor.
Back there in the chat. How's it going, Eldor? Good to have you here. Sorry, Bobby. What were you going to say? I interrupted you there.
Did I? Did you? I don't know. I don't remember saying anything.
All right. Maybe it's you, Shawn. Did I interrupt you?
I said hey to the guys that you were mentioning.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. HP Brown Sauce Craft says, I never had these and never wanted them despite seeing the movie in the theater and really liking it. Yeah, well, I get it. But in retrospect, and that's probably why I didn't ask for them, but these things are great. And seeing them, every time I see them in a vintage store, I see them online, I just like them even more.
Yeah.
They all essentially, they look like, bigger. I think they were like 5 inches tall, maybe 4.5 inches tall.
So would you display that stiff worm, or would you put that in your nightstand?
I would put it in the drawer in my nightstand.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Wait, before I do that, before I go there, am I imagining things? Sometimes if I look at Instagram while I'm at work, which I have a tendency to do periodically throughout the day, I will see something and I don't, and like right now I'm remembering having seen something maybe today or yesterday, but I don't know if I feel like I'm thinking about it almost like it's a fever dream. But is there a sandworm on one of the new mini comics for Origins that's coming out?
Yeah, the Skeletor. Yep.
Okay, so I'm glad I'm not imagining that. What the heck is that? What's that?
I don't know. Adam from the Bellram blog, he mentioned that to me today too on my tweet, and he's like, "What's the Dune sandworm doing there?" I was like, "I have no idea."
Okay, so we'll talk about that in a little bit more. But, that's crazy to me, and super cool in a way.
Yeah. That's funny that you brought that up because that's exactly what we said today.
That's so funny. Brick something. The vehicles in this line are fantastic. Okay, that's good. I need to look into that. I don't even know what they look like. All right, next one on my list. This. We'll go back to one that I had, and that's this. And this is Fisher Price Animal Puppet.
And that's the vintage one, right?
Yeah,
this is the vintage one.
I always wanted that too.
I had that.
Did you?
I did, and I played with that like crazy.
Yes. Me too. Me too.
I have the Kermit. I don't have that.
Now, what made this guy amazing, Shawn, you're going to be 100% on board with this, it was that you could make his eyes blink.
Yes.
And he's got, plastic sculpted teeth.
Yeah.
You open his mouth, and he's got the teeth on the bottom. He didn't have the bottom lip, and as a kid, I was like, where's his bottom lip? I was such a stickler for details. But everything else about this is magical. This was a fantastic toy.
Absolutely.
And I got him, I think he came out in 80, I believe. And I think I got him as it was a clearance item. My family picked him up as a clearance item for pretty cheap. And I remember thinking that was like a score. But yeah, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, we got Muppets for Christmas one year. I got Kermit. My brother got Fozzie Bear.
Oh, so cool.
And I want to say that my sister got a Miss Piggy, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know if they made a Miss Piggy or not. I can't remember.
They did, and she was like vinyl.
Yeah. Because I did also have Bert and Ernie and the Count, the real big rubbery headed puppets.
Yes, those are fantastic.
Yeah. And I remember wanting the animal because his eyes you're saying he'd blink, and that was really cool to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I like seeing this image. I feel like I'm at Toys R Us seeing it then when I was a kid. Like I literally, like my heart skipped a few beats just going like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a kid again right now looking at this thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. And like I used to have, my son does this because my son has a bunch of stuff he's collected since he was a baby, basically. Everybody gives him a stuffy, he puts another one on the bed, basically. And I was like that, only I had the Muppets all over my bed when I was a kid. I had Muppets and Ewoks and Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I had Kermit there with me and Piggy and Animal, and I remember I used to love just making his mouth move and then doing the other thing to make his eyebrows go down, and then you could adjust them how you wanted. So I could make him that he was slightly mad, maybe a little confused, maybe this, and then he's sleeping or whatever.
Yes.
Oh, I love that so much.
And he has his nose is rubber and it's textured to look like foam. This guy was like, I keep waiting for Disney to put out something like this. Every time a new stuffy comes out of one of the Muppets, they just look swollen and weird. They don't look like the Muppets. These Fisher-Price puppets that they came out with are spectacular.
No, I agree completely. Like this for me is like, if it doesn't come from this era, I don't want it, because number one, the nostalgia's there. Number two, I haven't found, like you said, nothing they've done ever since Fisher-Price lost the license to them has felt legit. Like this felt like you could literally go on the Muppet Show and use him as Animal. It felt like it was legit, the puppet. And that's another part of why it was so magical when I was a kid.
I'm going to get to something really interesting in that regard in just a little bit. But, Captain Biscuit 71, was this the inspiration for the Boglins? I would say the inspiration for the Boglins was definitely Jim Henson, but more Labyrinth.
Yeah.
But yes, the Boglins had those mechanisms so you could create facial expressions that Jim Henson kind of created. So yeah, for sure, Captain Biscuit. And good to see you, by the way. Yeah. All right, so check this out. Agro's Cartoon Connection is an Australian Saturday morning cartoon show. Was a Australian Saturday morning cartoon show. I believe he's still around, but he started in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. I had the good fortune to be able to go to Australia as a kid. And I saw this show on the TV, and it's hard to see it here, but that's the animal toy. Underneath this layer of like super dirty looking orange fur. But that's the same teeth, the same tongue, the same mouth, the same eyes, just the pupils are painted wide, bigger. And you see that little white thing between the two eyes that connected the two eyes. That's just like the toy.
Yeah.
Nose. And when I watched this on the TV, I was like, that's amazing. This person just took that toy and changed it into their own character. And he became a Saturday morning variety show sensation in Australia.
So I was right. I just need to be in a different continent to try it out.
Exactly. They never got in trouble for it. So
yeah, because it's modified.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a quick little story, and it's one that my mom is always proud of reminding me of. So when we were kids back in the early '80s, they had all the main Muppets, but the two that were missing for me was Statler and Waldorf. Obviously, my favorite Muppets ever. And I really, like, every time we watched the Muppet Show, I just was like going crazy. I wanted to have something of Statler and Waldorf because there was nothing out there for them.
Yeah.
My mom eventually, she was really good at making costumes and this and that. So she made 2 Statler and Waldorf puppets for me. And then she ended up reaching out to Jim Henson's company. And she I don't know if she sent photos, but she just said, "Hey, I did this." And, she wasn't sure how that was going to work in, like, is it a copyright issue or whatever, and this and that. And she's like, well, these are characters you don't have out and licensed to anybody. And she was actually tempted to make a few of them and see if she could sell them at some point. And she got a cease and desist from Jim Henson. And she's like, I still have that to this day. And she was so proud of herself. It's like he at least acknowledged the letter, at least in that way, even though it was a cease and desist. But like, it was the craziest thing. When I was a kid, those were 2 of my most cherished things in my entire collection. It was just 2 things my mom made for me.
That's so cool.
Because there was no other way of getting anything like that. And on top of that, the thing that made her most embarrassed about this is she made them and she painted the faces on them. She didn't do like the Muppet version. It was like a painted face, and they looked identical, even though it wasn't like a 3D face. And I loved them so much the minute I saw them that I grabbed them from her and took them, and she never could paint the rest of the bodies on properly. So they were 2 naked old men I was walking around with, and they were like my best friends. But my mom was always like, oh crap, here we go. We're going out in public and there's these naked old men under your arm. You're so proud of this. But for me, it was like, it was the faces. It was all about the faces. The rest of it had that. I was like, I don't see them in the balcony. I know they got a tie and a jacket on. I'm fine with that. But it's the faces that mattered the most.
Well, what's great is you could take if you wanted to, if you had 2 of those ventriloquist dolls, you could take, the suit off the ventriloquist doll and just put it on those Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
You still have those?
They were another thing for the weather and all that and the elements. But I'm going to see if my mom has any photos. I'm pretty sure she'd at least have a couple. And if I do get them, I'll post them for a future episode, because I'm pretty proud of my mom for responding when I was like, I really want those figures. And then she just made them for me. It was crazy.
Yeah, Statler and Waldorf are the best. I mean, and that's amazing your mom did that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cobb, good to see you. Cobweb says they cut up the big tennis ball and stuck it on his head. Yep, for sure. Agro, his first name was Agro, his last name was Vation. Aggravation. Highly, this is why another reason why I liked him, because I love Statler and Waldorf too because of this reason, but he was highly irritable and snarky and would say snarky things, and that's what made him such a hit in Australia. All right, so that's it for me. Now we're moving on to Shawn.
All right, so I did like the GoBots when I was a kid too, and Transformers were a lot more expensive, so I got a few of those, and as I got older, I got a few more here and there. But the thing was, when I first started collecting them, you didn't really know who were going to be the characters that popped the most. You just, like, the night I went to Toys R Us and they first came out, I was going on looks, and the first ones I managed to get were Sideswipe, because I love that he was the red Lamborghini, and red was a really cool color. And I got Thundercracker and Sunstreaker. And then later on, I needed an Optimus because I was watching the cartoon. But Prowl's one that fell completely through the cracks for me. And as I got older, in the Marvel Comics especially, he became a big player in that.
Yeah.
And like near the end of the Marvel Comics run, he was like the leader of the Autobots for a while, because they had, Optimus was gone and all these other characters were gone. So he was the default next in line. And I love that. And I'm like, I didn't see him like that. But so that kind of fueled I really wished I would have gotten him when I was a kid. And he also broke my heart the most in Transformers the movie, because when the Decepticons raided the Autobot shuttle, that he was the one that he got shot through the freaking chest, and then you saw his eyes dim, the smoke come out of his mouth. And as a kid, I was like, I just witnessed a murder. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, that movie was hardcore.
I love that movie to this day. Yeah. But yeah, there's something about Prowl for me. He was one of the few Autobots that I was missing. I didn't get Starscream either as a kid. Wow. So I always felt like there was a hole in the collection because of that.
I really like this guy. And it's funny because when you sent the pictures over, I was like, I hadn't seen or thought about this character since I first saw it. Mm-hmm. I think at my babysitter's house, their kids had one, I think. But yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't like I wasn't like into police things or whatever, but he had this vibe, like, being a good guy. It almost made it like he was the ultra good guy of the good guys, I guess, since he was the police car on top of it.
Yeah. Popo.
Yeah. He's El Popo.
Yeah. El Popo.
El Popo. Okay, so there we go.
So I'm interested to know your story. And so, I mean, we all think about Scareglow a lot, because it's probably the most valuable figure of the Masters line. I don't know any, maybe Mosquito, maybe, I don't know, but tell us your story about your experience with Scareglow.
So I didn't see him in the stores. I knew he was out there, and I heard about him. And then there was this one day where I was at I think it was a K&B Toys in the one mall, and I was looking at the Ghostbusters figures, because that was around the time when the real Ghostbusters figures were coming out, and that got me really excited, because that was another line I got into as a kid. And my mom was looking through the Masters figures, and at the time, because of the movie, you could just sense it was wilting away, and it was dying, and there were very few things left for me to worry about. And my mom actually took him off the peg, and she goes, "Evil Ghost of Skeletor," and she's like, "Is this like Skeletor's ghost, like in the future? Like it comes back from the back to the past from the future, and it's gonna like do things." And like my mom and I were having a discussion about it in KB Toys, but it didn't even dawn on me that she's holding one of the most expensive figures 40 years later. Mm-hmm. And I'm literally having this discussion with her, and that's why when I got into classics and they did the whole, they actually helped identify what that meant, and that was one of the few things where I'm like, okay, that was cool that he was serving Skeletor. It wasn't that he was of Skeletor. But yeah, I completely missed the boat on that one, because it really was that feeling of, well, the line is pretty much done. I don't see a reason in getting some of the later figures. And it turns out the later figures are some of the most sought after.
Yeah, there always are.
So so leave it to me to be the guy that, it's like, here's that golden ticket, Charlie, and I just look at it and go, I don't like chocolate, and I just throw it over my shoulder.
How would you know? It's like, I think I saw him on the shelf too, but my thought was nothing compares. because I was, I was all about the core villains, and this guy just seemed like, well, what are they doing? Just coming up with a new version? Like, what's this? A new version of Skeletor? I don't get it.
What's well, what was funny about it to me was, okay, that the end of the line, you had characters like Ninjor, you had Clamp Champ, and stuff, and I had Clamp Champ. So, like, why didn't I just grab Scareglow? Scareglow actually has the most personality of all of those the later figures, and it would have even fitted well with Ghostbusters. Since I was getting into that, he would have been a perfect ghost for them to go after.
Yeah,
it's like my kid head just did not put 2 and 2 together on that one.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I thought when originally we were telling the story, I thought that's where you were going to go, because you were looking at the Ghostbusters figures, and I thought you were going to see it like in with the Ghostbusters figures because the KB toy worker put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
no, he was right there with the Masters figures, but. At that time, like, you look through the Masters figures, you're finding a lot of movie figures, and I got Gwildor, but I didn't get Sarad and Blade because Gwildor had the cosmic key, and that was like, well, that's a big part of the movie. I'll get that, and then I can play like my figures are playing something from the movie if I feel like it or whatever. But then, yeah, it never connected to me. And then later on, when I got into when I went back into Masters and I went online and started finding out about this, then it's like, oh, can I kick myself back in 1987 for literally passing on this when my mom probably would have let me get him if I would have just said, hey mom, can I get that one today or whatever? So, but
he was probably clearanced too at the time.
He might have been. The one thing that I will say though is he would have ended up in all the crap that was left outside though. So in that way, it would have been ruined anyway. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that it worked the way it did, because I would have literally been like, "You've got to be kidding me, Dad!" Like, seriously. But so in that way, it's a better thing I didn't have them. But I still, to this day, I remember that visit to the toy store. And my mom and I having that discussion on whether he was a ghost of Skeletor coming back to go after He-Man or go after Skeletor, which would have been a really crazy idea. Like, the ghost of yourself is coming back to get you. Like, what's that all about or whatever?
Right.
So the story potential for play would have been amazing, but yeah, I wasn't on my game that day, apparently. I was at like Ghostbusters, and because of watching Transformers the movie, I was trying to find any Transformers that were created in the movie, and like a Cyclonus, Scourge, and Springer, and characters like that. So it's like this was not even on my radar at that point, because Masters didn't have anything new other than the movie, and you could tell the movie was like, they were trying, but it just wasn't firing on all cylinders like it was in the early 80s.
So true. Captain Biscuit 71 has a question. Did the original Scareglow come with the key, or was it before Castle Grayskull?
He just came with the halberd.
Yeah.
No key, yeah.
That was a classics thing that they added, if I remember right.
And also, going back to our original discussion, which was the difference, what's better, soft goods or hard plastic clothing. And this guy had a soft goods cape, which again is part of what makes this so valuable, is being able to find him with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's all original.
Oh, good. I was going to ask you, Bobby, if you have one of these in your collection.
Yeah, I got every single figure. So yeah. Well, besides the Italian figures, but yeah, I do have a Scareglow, and he's complete, all original.
You're gonna have to do a little show and tell, Bobby, of all your.
Yeah, I know. I did on Twitter. I got photos of them, all of them.
Yeah, that's great.
But you don't have Twitter, you snob.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I'm lazy. All right. Alf Inflict says, you know what it was for me? He looked like one of the Motu knockoffs that were out there then. Yes. What my kid mind thought, and I blew him off. Yeah. Right. If only we know now what we know. If we knew then what we know now.
But he's cool looking. He's awesome looking.
as the Super 7 Castle Grayskull had the keyhole for it to open the back door. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this guy's one of the best.
Yeah.
And and I do have to say, some Origins figures, I think that they don't quite reach the magic of the vintage, but some do, and the Origins version of Scareglow is pretty darn amazing.
Yeah, he's good.
He's got a fantastic glow, and they did a good job of honoring the original figure.
Yeah, I did a comparison on Twitter as well of the two standing next to each other and the glow feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does the vintage glow hold up?
It's pretty good. Mine still glows pretty well. He's a lot darker than the Origins, of course, but he still glows really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have the classics one, and that one, I know that one is one of the high dollar ones in there, but I'll tell you, if you get one, you'll see why, because it is a gorgeous figure. I forget the term. It's the tube that holds the key that everybody's talking about, and there is a little Castle Grayskull on the top of it that you pop that open, and that's where the key goes in. And it's stuff like that that makes it so freaking cool to have that figure, because that's a detail that the Horseman added to that character to make it have more character than what it already does. And on top of that, it's just the sculpt and everything. Like, I love that his hand is like, he could do like one of these kind of poses where it's like the maniacal laugh, and I love it. I absolutely do.
Yeah, that's great. Scareglow's great.
Yeah, he is.
Eldor says, I just have the Revelation Scareglow, but yes, so far I've not been able to get any other version of him. Someday, my friend.
It's still a good one. I did have it. I ended up having to let go of it last year, but that's still a pretty decent version of him. The only weird thing is he doesn't glow anywhere other than his head, though.
Yeah.
It's a super weird decision that they made to do that.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorites. I'm so glad you included this.
So yeah, my mom got me Migos when I was a kid, and that was like the only superhero line I remember having until Superpowers and Secret Wars hit. And me being a He-Man fan, I found out they did a Conan figure, and then I was like, how do I find that? Because it blew my mind that they actually had like the sword and the axe and everything. And I was like, holy crap, this is like a 7-inch version of He-Man, basically, but obviously it's Conan. And
Battle Axe.
It's like I was not a fan of the hair, but everything else was working for me. But I never ever could find one, and I don't even think I've seen one in reality. But I've seen photos that yes, they're out there. So
yeah, and what's funny is that Mego had a larger body sculpt that they could have used. There was a more popular version. I believe they used them for the Hulk.
Yeah.
They could have repurposed that sculpt, but they decided not to. It's such an interesting. Whenever I see something like this, I think, what were the toy designers thinking exactly?
Yeah,
they probably had an abundance of those toys, so they just they used the bodies.
Well, what blew my mind was, like, as a kid, I had the Dukes of Hazzard figures, and it's like those figures didn't have any kind of like hair coming out; it was all sculpted.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, they could have just took one of those guys and just popped the head on Conan, and that would have been the end of it, and I would have been still happy with it. But no, they had to go to, hey, I hope he comes with a comb, because holy crap, like an hour out in the garden ripping them apart and killing bad guys, you're gonna have a problem with the hair. But
it's got the Mrs. White haircut from the Clue.
Yeah, totally.
Flames.
I do have to say that the hair adds a certain quality to this that you wouldn't have if he had the sculpted hair. And a good example of that is the new Kiss Migos have sculpted hair, and the vintage Kiss Migos have real hair. And there's something better about the real hair. you could muss this one up and get him to look more like a barbarian. But this particular figure, someone really took care of that hair.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That's blow dried and conditioned.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he's worth it. L'Oreal.
He just got out of the salon.
This is I had my hair did by Crom, you know. You will not ruin this day.
This is good. This surely needs her Laverne.
They did have Laverne and Shirley dolls.
They did. Maybe
Back
that's
in the
just the reuse of that hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god! All I'm seeing now is I want to see Conan and Fonzie hook up, and the two of them go on a road trip together and solve problems across America.
Well, now you have to buy these two figures because I like the Fonzie one.
The Fonzie and Conan show, yeah.
And you need a Barbie, a Corvette. Just take them on the road.
By Crom, we will kill the shark instead of jump it.
That's right.
Cross your enemies that have driven before you and kill the shark instead of jump it.
That's good. Awesome. All right, next on the list is
Laser tag.
Laser tag.
I remember that.
I wanted this so much. There were two versions, and to this day I still remember this. They had the laser tag and they had Photon.
Yeah.
And Photon, I don't remember. Laser tag had a cartoon, I think, but Photon had a live action show. And each week I had to watch that thing because it was so like it was like The Last Starfighter. It's the whole, here's a kid who's really good at this game, and then they teleport him up to be the champion to help the good guys win. And as a kid, that formula just always made me sit there and watch this stuff.
It's Last Starfighter.
That's what I was saying. It's exactly Last Starfighter. It's like, you know, how cool is that you're good at something that really has no good use anywhere. Right. All of a sudden, you're like the only survivor, or you're the only savior of the universe because only you got the high score. I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always hoped I could have gotten the legit laser tag gun and the target and the helmet and all that stuff. Never did as a kid, and I didn't get the Photon one either. And Photon even had cool toys. They had their toys were like, I want to say 10 inches tall or 12 inches tall.
Really?
And they only made, I think there were two good guys and two bad guys. I know Bodie Lee was the good guy, the guy that got beamed up. And then there was a guy that had like 4 arms and he was orange, if I remember right. He was like the bad guy, one of like the minions for the bad guys. And there was another one, and I don't remember who it was. I want to say those were the only ones they released because Photon didn't go as well as laser tag. But either way, I didn't get any of that stuff, and I was always sad about that. But my mom was weird about the gun thing too when I was a kid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, laser tag was huge at that time, and I remember that. And it was, I wish I had some of that too.
Yeah, me too. Now you got to get this so you can take it down to Glendale, Arizona, and play
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. You get, this is your new Adventures He-Man outfit, and
that's true.
Down to Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
Well, what was funny though was when I was a kid, stuff like this I would cobble together and do cosplay play out in my backyard. So I didn't get this, but my mom got me the Captain Power one. Oh. And that one you had a gun and you could shoot darts with it. So that was my He-Man gun from the movie. And then my dad made me the power sword, and I'd run around like I'm He-Man in the movie. I'm shooting first, killing things, and all this stuff. And yeah, it was so like my mom already knew what I would be doing if I got this stuff. It wouldn't be like the legit thing. I'd just be playing with it outside like a crazy person. So
this is big news, Eldor. Yes, apparently they have been in talks to doing a second Last Starfighter film.
Wow,
cool. That would be great.
I love that movie.
Me too. Me too.
I'd be curious to see. I was so into that movie as a kid. I'd be curious to see what, probably like their kid going up into space or something in the next one. But they already got beamed up in that one. Maybe the kid stayed. Maybe they took the kid back to Earth and then they have to beam the kid up for some reason. Who knows?
I'd be on board to see what they do. Remember Gotcha? I always wanted to play like that with friends. This reminded me of Gotcha. I don't know if I saw. I have a vague memory of a movie called Gotcha. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't recall. I don't know. Gotcha. I don't know.
Alf, I'm going to look it up though. Whenever Alf sends me something interesting, I look it up. I'm always happy I did. So Gotcha's probably amazing. Yeah. So let's see. We got. So Brick something says, I guess no Intertech for you, Shawn.
Nope, I didn't have that either. I like my parents. My parents were really cool. I'll preface it with that. My parents always were able to get me things that I would ask for if I wasn't being a brat about it. And but if it involved anything that was like, guns and stuff like that, like I had some guns that I could go out and play, like GI Joe, like I'm playing like I'm a GI Joe myself. But my mom just got to a point with it where she was seeing the news and going, there's kids getting shot by police because they're playing with guns that aren't really, they're toy guns, but
Right.
the cops don't know that. And like, so she wouldn't even let me get Megatron. I had to bypass her through my father to get him, and he broke. Ironically, like a couple days later, there was always that like Christmas story. Like I always looked at my mom sideways, kind of going, I wonder how he broke. Like it's like you didn't want me to have him, but no, they were always really good to me in that way. But there were definitely like boundaries about that. So like this kind of stuff was never on the must get list. They were always like, he wants Castle Grayskull. We'll get him Castle Grayskull, but we're not buying him the gun stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna fight you. Castle Grayskull's badass. So
it's the best.
Yes.
Cobweb says I played in the mirror.
That's how I would have had to play it too, actually.
That's something that I think I would get like, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to try and figure this out.
Mirrors all over the house.
Yeah, right.
Angles.
And Graf says there were some amazing water guns back then too.
Yep.
The all black Uzis with battery power.
Those.
Yeah, I remember those. Guns were, toy guns were pretty amazing back then.
Yeah, they looked real.
They looked real.
Yeah.
That first Han Solo laser pistol was beautiful.
Yeah, I had that. So did I. Yeah.
I didn't like the noise it made, but I was so happy that I had it and I could make the noise, just do it like that.
Yep. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was beautiful. All right, so the last slide I have is of this guy. Now, I want to bring him up because we always talk about masters on here.
Yeah.
But I certainly have mixed feelings about this. Not negative feelings per se, but maybe I'm feeling maybe a little unaffected by it. Maybe he's kind of a little bit lackluster to me. What are your guys' feelings on this key Skeletor?
It's just Faker in a different outfit.
Yeah, for sure. I see that. What else?
It's lacking. It's lacking what the comic did.
Yeah,
it really is them not putting the effort into doing the legit thing, because like in the comic the cross is bones.
Yeah.
And he also has long black hair. And I think there's a couple other things that still define him a little bit more than just being like a Faker ripoff. And this is like, if you like the comic, if I saw this, I'd be like, that ain't anything like what you showed me at the end of that book.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly where Thanos is saying, I will probably custom him some armor. And that's probably what I feel is keeping me from wanting to get this guy, is that essentially we already have it all. All you got to do is have the interest in repainting the stuff you already have. And the argument could be made for the anti-Eternia He-Man as well. But like Bobby said, we already have the blue He-Man if you have Faker. So it would be less work.
See, what the problem I have with that is you should get the figure without having to customize anything. That's how I feel about it.
So why not have the cross?
Right. I mean, why? I mean, there's a lot of customizers out there, but there's guys like me who don't do that and have no talent for it.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to buy an accurate figure, I shouldn't have to say, well, I'm going to buy him and then I'm going to change him the way he should be.
Yeah.
I don't like that. They should offer it as a legitimate thing, you know.
Honestly, if he had longer hair, if he had the crossbones,
right,
boom,
that's different. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
I would be on board.
Yeah. Just to have a different mold colored and it's the same crap. It's the same crap.
And on our U83 says, yeah, exactly. Let me put you up front here. Yeah, exactly. So if you had the longer hair, or even if it was just flowing, or the smile, perhaps the evil, sinister smile.
Why don't they use the original of head for He-Man? He had for vintage. I mean, not vintage, for Origins.
Oh my gosh, that would have been perfect. Yeah, that's right. For sure. I feel like on our U83 says something here. With all the others coming, I think I'll pass. I think part of that is because there's a they're not taking it to the next level here. It feels a little. I hate to talk negatively about a company like Mattel that's giving us so many cool things right now. I do feel like this figure might be a little bit lazy.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say they Masters is always popular for the reuse of everything, like they've done in the past. Yeah. But this is, they're also getting lazy, like you were saying, on this stuff as well. They're just like, hey, we'll just do this and they'll buy it because it's cool because they like the way we do it. And it's, you got to give us something, especially for an exclusive figure.
I mean,
give it a little bit more.
Honestly, and this finally came in the mail, by the way, but this guy, this guy is an example of how all you have to do is just make a little bit more effort.
Exactly.
Completely original figure based on something in the lore.
That's why everybody loves that figure.
That's why you love it. That's why that's why it's sold out. Wait, did it sell out? Yeah, it sold out.
Yeah, it sold out. Yeah, it sold out. Yep.
So I mean, that's my big issue here, is that it's not quite. So I think at the end of the line here, I feel like maybe we're getting close to the end of the line for Origins, and that they might be cutting corners a little bit. But Thanos Copter says, finally got my Frogmonger. He's amazing. Yeah, he's an amazing.
He is. Yeah, it's great.
I haven't pulled him out yet, but I don't know, that sounds gross, but I haven't taken him out of the box yet. But I know that next week when Oz is back, we'll all kind of do that. Do you have yours with you, Bobby?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, we can hold off.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it probably in a couple of weeks.
Cool.
3 weeks. So
yeah, we'll hold off.
Yeah.
We'll wait for you.
But you don't have to wait for me. I mean, you guys can open it. It's no big deal. That's fine. We can do that.
So this is just a little bit like, come on.
Well, everything's just reused. The whole thing's reused.
Yeah. I what you were saying before about I don't feel like you were negatively talking about this. And the thing is, like, companies like Mattel, I mean, look at the classified line for G.I. Joe right now. When that thing started, the fans were having a fit because these figures weren't representing what they were hoping the line could be.
Right.
They were seeing a line that was based on some other idea, and people just wanted to have 6-inch G.I. Joes similar to what they had. It's basically the you know, vintage to classics for us as
Yes.
Masters fans. They wanted vintage to classics in their version in that sense.
Yeah, I felt that way too about those because I wanted to get the Dreadnoks, and now I won't because they don't look like them.
Exactly. So
Well, Zartan looks good.
Zartan's a great figure.
I was going to say Zartan, but mainly Crocmaster, and they made him this extraordinarily expensive figure. And it's like the best one that I've seen on the shelf so far.
Yeah, and I wanted to get Major Blood too, but I passed because it doesn't look right to me.
Yeah, it doesn't look right. They don't look right.
But the thing to me though is you saying stuff like that. Hopefully, if they hear it, if they care about the line, they're going to take that into consideration moving forward, because Hasbro has managed to do a 180 on that line, and there's a lot more people that are excited about it because they're getting what they were hoping the line could have been in the beginning versus this weird tangent version that they started out the line with. And in this case, there is nothing, I hate to say it, but there's nothing special about this to make it like a Mattel creation anything to me. This literally is fake or mispainted. And that is not what, like, that character too. He's even got like the Reed Richards white streaks in his hair. There's nothing like that on this figure.
Right.
It's like there's nothing on this that represents it in the proper way. And this is you know, you should have gone back to the drawing board, but I guess they've been pumping these figures out so much in the last 4 years that I figured they're like, well, how many people read the book? You know, and then they just put this one out, and it's misrepresenting what that figure is. And the other thing, agree somewhat on the Anti-Eternia idea, but the Anti-Eternia He-Man, when I first found out they made him and I found out what the deal was with him, the mythos of that figure made that one of my must-have figures in the classics line, and I was so happy to get that figure. This, for me, even from the story perspective, is like, it's literally nothing I would ever need in my collection unless if I was just a completist and just needed every single figure in the
right.
Yeah. On our U83 says, if you think about it, every toy company reuses molds and parts. They just do it in a way, be it paints or small details, and make it seem very different. Absolutely true.
Yes, right.
But those details are where they need to shine. Like,
well, right, and that's what I was saying about this, because it's an exclusive. So they could have detailed his armor with the bones, like you said, and the hair. Then it would be a lot better.
Yeah, and that's, you know, there are Origins figures that have some reused parts and some new parts, and they're put together, and that's what made the vintage figures so cool for me.
Yeah,
and that's what works in when Origins is really working, it's doing that right. And so there's a way for Mattel to have saved money on this figure, and still given us something more along the lines of what's in that comic, more along the lines of what we wanted to see, or that would make this a little bit more special. I do love the idea of having purple weapons, and that, you know, I love that. I love purple, so that's cool. But it's almost like, and I know we've said this, I'm always saying this, almost every episode I say this. This is something that we could have built out with a parts pack. And just give us the parts in a parts pack, the variety of colors, the different pieces of figures, and we can put them together and make our own version using the faker body, and figure that out on our own. And how wonderful would that be to be like, ooh, I can make it because this came with the purple and yellow armor in the parts pack.
No, I do agree though that why is the Keldor head not used on this one?
Yeah.
Excuse me. That to me is probably the worst sin of the whole thing. I mean, the armor to me is like, okay, you're literally making a bone cross instead of the normal cross, and that's all that's really the difference other than the colors. So I can almost pass that, but it's like that head is so not what you would have expected if you read the book, you know, and
Yeah.
so it's like,
I
what
think
was that decision about?
I think Bobby hit the nail on the head. They should have just given us a repaint of the original Origins He-Man head,
Mm-hmm.
and that would have
That would
looked
have
more
worked.
like this.
Yeah, it would have worked better.
Yeah. And the savior of Grayskull tag also is frustrating. His world doesn't have a Grayskull. There's there's little things like that. I do want to say what I do want is what's in the background and what he's standing on. I want those as part
The
of the
portals.
portals with a backdrop of stars. Like that's
Mhm.
beautiful. That's amazing.
If he came with all of that, it would be worth the price. And then you just throw the figure over your shoulder, and you can have that to do whatever you want with.
That it could go behind if it was big enough backdrop, it could go behind your new Eternia playset and have those portals, and you could save Eternia from Dark Lynn and all kinds of things
Mm-hmm.
And their big stompers.
with their big stompers. Honestly, would rather they have reused Tila or Man at Arms in their anti-Eternia versions to join the anti-Eternia He-Man faction. I think that could still happen.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
Because they did offer, I think it was Man at Arms as
Yeah.
one of the vote figures
That's
back
right.
in the day with
That's right.
Triclops won.
That would have been an easy one too.
Oh yeah, all they got to do is
it's just spray paint them all black, and boom, you're good to go. And you could have had a whole here's all the masters as that version done.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Let's walk out of this.
Yeah. And yes, the minis had a bunch of anti-Eternia versions too. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah. So that's it for the slides. I think it's good to know that people are going to get this figure because it's good that Mattel that their creative efforts are rewarded in some way. I just think
it'll sell.
I just think that it would be to think creatively about what you could do with this character. It feels a little bit like a miss.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really loved going through all the stuff that we had or didn't have tonight. That was awesome.
Yeah, the two big surprises was the Groucho Marx and the animal puppet. Those are fun.
Yeah,
I love them.
Yeah, you got to type in aggro Australian cartoon show on YouTube and watch some of his clips.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
It's pretty hilarious. But
I'll talk to my my brother-in-law because he's from Australia, so I'll see if he watched that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll see if he watched that at all.
Say, hey, do you know about the Aggro-Bation cartoon show?
Yeah, I'll have to remember that.
Yeah. If he says no, then I'm gonna feel like, oh no, am I just obsessed with this one thing in a very small corner of Australia that they experience? Yeah, that's cool. Oh, Brick something is saying good night.
See ya.
I think I might build a bunch of these portals as shells behind Eternia for my multiple versions of He-Man Skeletor. That's a great idea, Thanos.
That is.
Yeah.
And I think Thanos, did you say it earlier that your Modi is going to look really great with Dogmonger? I totally agree. Yeah, and Master Versal Toy Hunter Eldor is making a Modi puppet. So, folks, if you're not following Master Versal Eldor on Instagram, you should. He's got all kinds of great stuff on there, including he's making a Modi puppet. So cool. Good night, Cobb. Oh no, that wasn't you, Thanos. Okay, sorry. I'll find out who that was. But Cobweb saying good night.
See you.
Thank you, Eldor. Thank you, Eldor. And Captain Biscuit 71. Remember the original Tron figures? I got the new NECA ones. The new NECA ones are pretty cool. Yeah, those original Tron ones are awesome.
I have the original Tron figures.
Nice.
I got them all, and I got one of the cars as well, or the cycles, I should say.
I had the yellow one when I was a kid.
Yeah, I got the orange one, but I do have all the originals.
That was Cobweb saying that, but Thanos will take better picks. I don't know, Cobb. You know, everybody on here is doing interesting stuff, so I'm sure your picks will be awesome too. That's awesome, Bobby. You got to do, when you get your stuff displayed, you got to do a tour. We all really want to see your collection.
All right.
The more you talk about it, the more we're all like,
I know.
I'm tingling with enticement.
Yeah, I got all that. I got the what do you call it? Remco Universal Monster figures. I got a lot of that old stuff. Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. Well, that can be your first video you post.
There you
go. Oh, they're nice.
Yeah. That's the glow in the dark version.
Yeah, I had the original one, and I guess I lost them, and then we went back to the store, and all they had was the glow in the dark, and I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take it.
He'll be my guest host right here. There we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, those are great figures.
Yeah, I only have the reaction version, and not even the coolest, the newer reaction versions, which are more closely resemble the Remco figures. But there's that's just the creature works perfectly in the 3.75 inch,
it does.
Articulation
Yep.
scale perfectly. Bobby building the anticipation. That's right.
Yeah. I'll get it someday. Someday.
Yeah. So what else, guys? Anything else on your minds to discuss tonight before we close up shop?
I've been going down rabbit holes. So like between your podcast and then I found a couple of toy guys online where they're not doing reviews, they're doing more like nostalgia trips back into the 80s. And it was reminding me of stuff like that I never, it's like not even crossed my mind in years. Like there's one I was researching last night a little bit, the Manglores.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I remembered, because all that I could remember was he was a green guy. You could rip his arm off and put it back and it would like heal up again. And it was mind blowing to me as a kid. And then there was like a play set that you could put him in and that would restore him or something. Like
yes.
And he was like Swamp Thing or something.
And it incorporated like special effects.
Yeah.
I remember those.
And I was looking into those a little bit last night, and I still remember I had maybe 2 or 3 of him, because it got to a point where he would like dry out or he wasn't as able to get back to his normal form again. Yeah. And then my mom, it was an inexpensive thing, so my mom would go, "Oh, we'll get you another one or whatever," and then I had another one to play with, and so it's like all of these little things like that, or another one that I had when I was a kid, I love the Stariors, and I was looking into those a little bit this week. Crystar, the toy line, Mantech, and that was like the beginning of the pop and swaps, because those you could just pop their arms off and trade them with the other characters and create new characters and stuff. So yeah, I don't know what the heck it's been, but I've been going down these nostalgia rabbit holes on YouTube and listening to podcasts, and it's like, man, the amount of stuff that I've forgotten is mind blowing to me right now as a somebody who's doing this now and talking about toys and talking about the nostalgia and stuff. It's like, oh, there's so much stuff I've forgotten.
I'm right there with you. I've been going down rabbit holes too, but my big rabbit hole lately has been McDonald Land, and watching people. Dustin Crop's boy on YouTube restore the fiberglass displays from old, from the vintage displays from those old McDonald's and those characters, and the And I just watched a video earlier from a few years back of someone having purchased the McDonald Land play things like the slide and the bouncy grimace and a few other things that they were the Officer Big Mac like treehouse thing you could climb up into his head. Like it's like a jail. You're in jail inside of his head, of his mouth.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. They had bought those and they found them somewhere and they were installing them in their backyard. And I was like,
wow.
And I'm just thinking, thank God I don't do that. My wife would kill me if I did that. But at the same time, if I had the resources, I would be really tempted to try and figure out a way to do that.
It would be awesome.
So we go down these rabbit holes and we get like, it's exciting. And we live in a culture now where we can, or in a situation now where we can explore those elements of our culture.
Yeah.
Online and just drift. And it's kind of wonderful. And sometimes it's a heavy drift for me. Like right now it's a heavy drift. I'm like, pricing out Remco figures on eBay, looking for a vintage grimace and stuff like that. And then a show like this gets me thinking, oh, maybe I should, when I was looking up pictures of Groucho, maybe I should have been looking at the prices,
Yeah.
And after tonight, tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'll look something up, and that's fun. This is good. I think it's nice to re-experience things. Like some people in the chat were like, I never heard of Power Lords before.
Yeah, me either.
And like it's such a cool line to discover, even though it existed when you were, when you were young, if you didn't see it.
Well, like I told you that about your podcast, but it's like, us doing this or any other way that I've been experiencing this lately, there's this feeling of like, man, we grew up at the right time. We grew up in such a great era.
Yes.
And, like they took away all of those federal issues about the toys and the cartoons. We had so many multimedia things hitting us left and right back in those days. Some of it stuck, some of it didn't. Some of the stuff that didn't stick, it actually, when you go back, there's still this fondness to those things that maybe they aren't on DVD anymore because it didn't even have a cartoon. It might just be a comic series or something. Yeah. So like there's a lot of that stuff where it's like, I don't need it to be redone. It's just cool to know it's still there and that somebody out there appreciates it just as much as I did when I was a kid,
Yeah. I mean, say what you will about Cactus Plant Flea Market, whoever the people are who design these, this is still super rad. Like you take this idea of a thing and you do something new with it and you convince McDonald's to put it out in Happy Meals, and it's weird. And that's you if something changes in a weird way or in an interesting way, I'm always interested to know what it is and how they're going to do it. And I know that I'm the same person though that didn't like it when they changed Hamburglar from creepy looking Hamburglar with gray hair to super cuddly friendly version of Hamburglar with orange hair. I'm the same person. So there's a hypocrisy that exists with all that. But it's exciting. Did you guys have the Burger King's Star Wars glasses? Captain Biscuit 71.
Yeah.
He has the Empire Strikes Back one with IG-88 on the side. I remember.
Yeah, I've had a couple, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the first that I remember going to Burger King when I was a kid because my mom wanted the glasses. And I was just like, is it Jedi? I have a whole set of one of them. Either it's Empire or Jedi that my mom gave me a couple years ago. And I still have them wrapped up. And I didn't even open them because I was like, I don't want to break them. I'm actually afraid to touch them, but I have them at least. So
I think I have the McDonald's glasses from the early 80s and the late 70s. and I have like 4 grimaces. I'm gonna start drinking water from one of my grimaces.
There you go.
Garaf says pro weird. Yes, absolutely, we are pro weird here, or at least I am. I mean, I know you guys are too.
Yeah,
I want to speak for you.
I was always called weird, and I just accepted it after a certain point. So
yeah, I don't care less what people call me.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, and you know, people are gonna call you what they're gonna call you. It all depends on how you see yourself, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And
That's
I'm
what counts.
okay with my weird.
Yeah.
Shawn, I know we may have said this before, or at least I was thinking it, but your mom seems like she's very cool. So I just want to say, Shawn's mom, if you're watching, you're incredibly rad. Every time Shawn brings you up, you have really good taste in things, and you do some awesome things for your boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're great.
She made my childhood a lot of what I love about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I definitely, I couldn't imagine having different parents, because I probably wouldn't have been able to do half the stuff if they weren't who they were. And my dad was always, he was not that guy. Like, my dad was a complete opposite of my mom. Like, he didn't understand half of this stuff, but my mom fought for me on so many levels to make sure that I had some fun stuff and that I was entertained, since I was an only kid. So yeah,
that's good. It's good that you had that balance. You know, we learn from the parents that make decisions that are not so great, and if you have a parent that's making decisions that are great, then you have that perspective, and that's good. Yeah. I like this. Speaking of perspective, Captain Biscuit 71 saying we are family, and then Garaf says, "No, we aren't family. I like you guys." And then he goes on to say, I kid, just in case my sister is watching. All right. Trust me, we understand. Yep. Yeah, ups and downs. Life's a roller coaster, my friends.
Very true.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we close up shop? Anything you got to promote or anything tonight?
No, I got nothing to promote today. No.
The one thing I'll say is we are going to be doing an episode 100 finally for Legends of Grayskull podcast. So stay tuned. The Dooch and I were talking about what we're going to do. So yeah,
cool.
I don't think we'll do any episode 99 point anything. I think it will just be the 100th pretty soon.
I'm glad that I'm glad that you guys are getting there. I love the anticipation that you were building, and also really loved that you guys are doing a new off-world that's consistently with Curtis and Jesse.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, thank you.
That's really great. I'm super excited about that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a fun time. And Curtis is kind of like a kid in a candy shop when he shows up, because he gets to give us crap, and throw his opinion out there. But he likes us enough that he wants to come on each episode. So that it's like Jesse, it's like, dude, you're my brother from another mother. Just come on this with me and do this. Yeah. Cool. Then Curtis shows up. It's like, okay, so we got this rounded out little group now.
Yeah, cool. It's great. And Curtis brings a good energy. He always brings a good energy, a good sense of humor too. So yeah, that's great. Thanos Copter says, "Woohoo! Episode 100." Finally, yes.
And just watch; it'll end up being a 99 point something, because something will happen this week. Where, the dudes will go, "Wait a minute, we forgot about this. We should do this episode. Just don't want that on 100." I'll be like, "Can we wait until 101, maybe?"
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, whenever you guys plan a big episode, it's always exciting. So I'm hoping. I know that it'll be great. Yeah. So I'm excited for it.
Well, thank you.
I don't really have much to promote either, except there's the newest episode of Cambridge and with Shawn, episode 4, just popped up on wherever you find your podcasts. You can listen to it. Cambridge and with Shawn, and it's episode 4, and it's a good one. I mean, I feel like they're all pretty fun. But be sure to listen to that. And episode 5 comes out next month. And if you want to get episode 5 a week or 2 weeks early, become a Patreon of the Skele Vader channel. And, you know, consider, we've got Oz's link to his Patreon down there. We got Bobby's link to his Patreon down there below. And Shawn, we got to convince Shawn to do a Patreon one of these days. Yeah. And he's going to have his link down there below. If you have $3 a month to spare, that money goes toward exciting projects like, for example, Toy Frenzy stickers, which are now available on my Etsy shop. With that link is down below too. But also, if you become a Patreon, you get a sticker, so you're contributing, you get things. And I like to give little gifts to my Patreons, so there's that incentive too. But you know, money's tight for everybody. We totally understand. We just really appreciate you all being here and joining us tonight. I mean, it's awesome. Thank you, Duchess. Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanos Copter. Oh wait, here we go. Thanos Copter said, "I was waiting for Championship Edition and episode 99 turbo editing." You might still get that with episode 100. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you everybody in the chat for being here. The chat is just blowing up tonight. You'll have a lot of good stuff to say.
And they show up every week too, which is fantastic.
Every week, the best. We have the best group of Frenzy Knots, and we really appreciate you all. You know, click like, click subscribe, do the YouTube things if you haven't done them already. Spread the word of the channel. Oz is really good at promoting this at the end of every episode, but I'm going to say it. But you know, take a screenshot, post it to your Instagram. Let your friends know that you watch this crazy show where these dudes talk about their weirdness, and spread the word. It really helps. I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get the credits ready.
You're doing it? Okay, cool.
Or do you have it ready?
No, I don't. I didn't know if you wanted. I didn't know if you wanted me to do it or not. So.
We didn't talk about it. That's how good Oz. Oz is better just having it ready to go. And so, anyways, I'm gonna click the credits now. Thank you all so much for being here, Shawn.